social influence. How to read people, lead with quiet power, and keep every room in your control. Narrated introduction. Welcome. Before we begin, find a comfortable position and take a breath. What you are about to hear is not a lecture. It is a journey through science, through story, and through the quiet mechanics of human connection. By the end of this audiobook, you will see every room you walk into differently. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Invisible Game. There is a man standing in the back of the room. He hasn't spoken yet. He didn't arrive first. He isn't the loudest voice. But somehow, by the time the meeting ends, the entire group has shifted toward his position. Decisions were made in his favor. People feel good about it. They think it was their idea. That man understands social influence. This book is about becoming that person, not through manipulation or deception, but through a deep understanding of how human beings actually work. What drives their decisions? What earns their trust? What makes them lean in and listen? Every single human interaction, a job interview, a sales call, a difficult conversation with a spouse, a team meeting, a first date, is a dynamic exchange of energy, trust, and perception. Most people stumble through these exchanges on autopilot. The person who masters social influence learns to be awake inside them. The 3 pillars of influence. Across years of research and storytelling, 3 core pillars emerge from the world's greatest books on this subject. Think of them as the legs of a stool. Remove anyone, and your influence collapses. The first pillar is psychology. Understanding the mental shortcuts, emotional triggers, and deep-seated drives that shape why people say yes or no, trust or distrust, act or hesitate. The second pillar is self-awareness, knowing who you are and how you show up. Nearly half the population processes the world as introverts, yet most of our institutions are built around extroverted behavior. The introvert who learns to work with their own nature, not against it, discovers an extraordinary kind of influence, the power of depth, preparation, and precision. The third pillar is genuine human connection, the timeless art of making people feel truly seen. People will follow you, buy from you, support you, and defend you not because of your credentials, but because of how you make them feel. Master all 3, and you hold the keys to almost any room. Chapter 2. The Science of Yes. James was a mid-level manager at a logistics firm who struggled to get his ideas approved. His proposals were solid. His analysis was thorough. But somehow, senior leadership kept passing them over. A colleague pulled him aside one day and said, "James, you're making a mistake nearly everyone makes. You're trying to win people's minds. You need to win their instincts first." That insight changed everything for James, and it is rooted in decades of social psychology research. Reciprocity, give first always. When someone gives us something, a gift, a favor, information, time, a compliment, we feel a deep psychological obligation to give back. This is not weakness. It is ancient wiring built into us over thousands of years of cooperative living. In practice, a marketer who offers genuine value before asking for a sale will always outperform one who leads with the pitch. A leader who invests in their team's success before demanding results earns loyalty that money cannot buy. The rule is simple: give first, give freely, give without expectation of immediate return. Influence follows. Social proof: let others speak for you. When people are uncertain, they look around. They watch what others are doing. They look for signals that tell them this is safe, this is right, other people have done this and it worked. A restaurant with a line outside feels more appealing than an empty one. A product with thousands of reviews feels safer than one with none. A leader whose team visibly trusts them commands more respect than any resume could provide. For leaders, create visible cultures of trust and enthusiasm. For marketers, testimonials and case studies are your most powerful persuasion tools. For introverts, you don't need to be the loudest advocate for your ideas. Let your results, your track record, and the people you have helped speak in your place. Scarcity, the power of the rare. What is rare is valued. What is abundant is taken for granted. This is not philosophy, it is psychology. Think about the leader who is always available, always agreeable, always easy to reach. People stop valuing their time. Now think about the leader whose attention must be earned, whose approval is not given freely. That person's influence grows simply because their presence carries weight. Guard your time. Be selective with your endorsements. Create genuine, limited opportunities. Watch how the room shifts. Authority, liking, and commitment. 3 more principles complete the foundation. Authority reminds us that people follow those who demonstrate credibility and expertise. Build yours visibly, through writing, speaking, and the quality of your thinking. Liking reminds us that influence travels faster through warmth than through logic. People say yes to people they genuinely like. And commitment tells us that people who take small steps toward a position will almost always take larger ones. Never ask for everything at once. Start small. Build momentum. James began applying these principles one by one. He started bringing small, useful insights to leadership meetings before pitching anything. He began collecting stories of how his past projects had helped others. Within a year, his proposals were not just approved, they were anticipated. Chapter 3, The Quiet Advantage. Priya had always been told, gently, and sometimes not so gently, that she needed to speak up more. In school, participation grades suffered. In her first job, performance reviews noted she was not visible enough. At networking events, she felt like a fraud, counting the minutes until she could leave. What no one had ever told Priya was that her way of moving through the world was not a deficiency to be corrected. It was a different, and in many situations, superior, way of exercising influence. Rethinking the extrovert ideal. Modern culture has developed a powerful bias, the belief that the best leaders are bold, vocal, charismatic, and quick, that the person with the most confident voice has the best ideas, that visibility equals value. The evidence tells a very different story. Research on leadership effectiveness consistently shows that introverted leaders often produce better outcomes, particularly in complex, knowledge-driven environments where deep thinking, careful listening, and deliberate decision-making matter more than energetic performance. The introvert's natural tendencies: to prepare thoroughly, to think before speaking, to listen more than they talk, to build one-on-one relationships rather than broadcast to crowds, are not obstacles to influence. They are instruments of it. The strategy of quiet influence. Priya discovered her quiet advantage when she stopped trying to be someone else and started using what she was naturally good at. Where extroverts might win a room in the meeting, Priya won before the meeting with research so thorough and preparation so precise that when she finally did speak, her words carried extraordinary weight. She had done the work others hadn't, and because she spoke rarely, people paid close attention when she did. One-on-one, Priya was extraordinary. While others worked the room at social events, she had 3 deep, memorable conversations. She remembered details. She followed up. She made people feel genuinely understood, which is the rarest and most powerful social gift. Practical tools for the quiet influencer. The introvert's greatest influence tools are preparation, depth, and the power of the written word. Use writing as an influence channel. Introverts often communicate with greater clarity and precision in writing than in speech. A well-crafted email, proposal, or message can carry more persuasive weight than an improvised verbal pitch. Do not underestimate this. Build your influence infrastructure in advance. Relationships built quietly and consistently over time become your most powerful assets. The introvert who has invested in 5 deep professional relationships has more real influence than the extrovert with 500 shallow ones. Priya eventually became the most influential person on her team, not by becoming louder, but by becoming more intentional. The room, eventually, came to her. Chapter 4, The Human Connection. There is a CEO, let's call him Marcus, who runs a company of 400 people. He is not the most brilliant strategist in the industry, but his employee retention rate is the highest in his sector. His customers are extraordinarily loyal. His board trusts him without hesitation. When asked the secret, Marcus says something surprisingly simple. I am genuinely interested in the people around me. I want to know what they care about. I want to know what worries them. I want them to feel that they matter because they do. This is the oldest and most durable form of social influence, the kind that grows from genuine human connection. The name, the memory, and the smile. A person's name is, to them, the sweetest sound in any language. To use it with care, to remember it, to say it correctly, to connect it to who they are signals something powerful. I see you as an individual. You are not invisible to me. The marketer who actually learns the names and stories of their best clients doesn't just retain them. They transform them into advocates. The leader who knows each team member's ambitions and challenges doesn't just manage, they inspire. The genuine smile, real, not performed, opens more doors than the most polished pitch ever could. We are wired to mirror each other's emotional states. Warmth is contagious. The art of the question. The most influential people in any room are rarely the most talkative. They are the most curious. Asking a genuine question, one that invites the other person to share what they actually think, feel, or know, is a profound act of social influence. It says, your perspective is worth my time. The best sales conversations are not presentations. They are discoveries. The best leadership conversations are not instructions. They are explorations. When you ask better questions, your influence becomes almost surgically effective. Avoiding the traps that kill connection. 3 habits reliably destroy influence: criticizing, condemning, and complaining. When we criticize someone, even rightfully, we trigger their ego defense. They stop listening to us and start building their case against us. The alternative is not empty flattery. The alternative is honest appreciation, finding what is genuinely valuable in the other person, nomming it specifically, and building from there. Marcus had a policy. Before any difficult feedback conversation, he would identify one thing the person had done genuinely well. This made his critical feedback land with extraordinary power, because the person knew it was honest, because the appreciation that came before it was honest too. Chapter 5, Reading the Room. Before you can influence a room, you must be able to read it. Think of a chess grandmaster. They do not simply react to the pieces in front of them. They read the entire board. They anticipate moves that haven't been made yet. They understand the psychology of the opponent, their tendencies, their fears, their likely responses. Social influence works the same way. Listening at 3 levels. Most people listen at the first level. They hear the words and wait for their turn to speak. The second level is listening for content, actually absorbing the meaning of what is being said. The third level, the level that transforms relationships and unlocks influence, is listening for the person behind the words. What are they really trying to tell you? What do they need that they haven't said? What fear or desire is driving their position? This level of listening requires genuine curiosity and a quieting of the ego. Introverts often have a natural advantage here. The signals people send. When a potential client leans back and crosses their arms during your pitch, something has triggered resistance. When a team member goes quiet in a meeting where they are usually vocal, something is wrong. When a prospect asks a very specific question about implementation, they are imagining themselves using your product. The influential person notices these signals and responds to them in real time. They slow down when they sense resistance. They ask a question when they sense confusion. They lean in, physically and emotionally, when they sense openness. This is not manipulation. It is attunement. Chapter 6, The Leader's Blueprint. Leadership is influence at scale. Consider Aisha, a newly appointed director at a healthcare company, inheriting a team that was demoralized after a difficult restructuring. She could have arrived with a bold new vision, a new set of rules, a demonstration of authority. Instead, she arrived with questions. She spent her first 3 weeks doing nothing but listening in one-on-ones, in informal lunches, in hallway conversations. She asked each person, "What is working? What isn't? What do you wish leadership understood?" By the time she held her first all-hands meeting, the team already trusted her. Not because she had delivered results yet, because she had done something rarer. She had made them feel heard. Creating a culture of influence. The highest level leadership skill is not personal influence. It is creating environments where influence flows freely and constructively throughout a team. This means building psychological safety, the condition in which people feel free to speak, disagree, experiment, and admit mistakes without fear of humiliation. Teams with psychological safety perform better, innovate more, and weather crises more effectively. Recognize and celebrate the different kinds of contribution on your team: the vocal strategist and the quiet analyst, the bold risk-taker and the careful evaluator. The leader who can extract the best from both the introvert and the extrovert has doubled their organizational intelligence. And model the behaviors you want to see. People in organizations do what their leaders do, not what their leaders say. Chapter 7: The Marketer's Edge. Marketing has always been about influence, but the landscape has shifted dramatically. People are no longer passive receivers of marketing messages. They are active, skeptical, socially connected evaluators. They talk to each other. They share experiences. They call out manipulation when they smell it. In this environment, the marketer who masters social influence wins not by being louder, but by being more human. Value before ask. The most powerful marketing strategy in the modern era is also the oldest human principle: give before you ask. Create content that genuinely helps your audience. Solve a real problem before pitching your solution. Build trust through consistent generosity over time. When the ask finally comes, it feels not like a transaction, but like a natural next step. Story as the supreme persuasion tool. Data informs, story moves. When you tell the story of a customer whose life was changed by your service, you activate social proof, liking, and emotional resonance all at once. The listener imagines themselves in that story. They begin to see not just your product, but their own better future. The introvert's marketing superpower. Introverted marketers often feel at a disadvantage in a world that celebrates charismatic spokespeople. But the introvert's natural gifts, depth of analysis, quality of writing, precision of communication, ability to understand a specific audience deeply, are extraordinary marketing assets. Some of the most trusted brands in the world were built by introverts who understood their audience so deeply that every message felt personal, specific, and real. They did not broadcast to the crowd. They wrote letters to one person, and that person felt seen. Chapter 8: The Ethics of Influence. We have spent 7 chapters learning how to move people. It would be irresponsible to close without addressing the question that should always be asked: are you using this power for good? The principles of social influence are, in themselves, neutral. They can warm a house or burn it down. The person who wields them carries a genuine responsibility. The difference between influence and manipulation. Influence respects the other person's autonomy. It offers genuine value, makes honest arguments, and allows the other person to make a real choice. Manipulation bypasses the other person's better judgment. It exploits psychological weaknesses, creates false urgency, hides important information, and serves only the manipulator's interests. The distinction seems clear in the abstract, but in practice it requires constant honesty with yourself. The salesperson who uses scarcity honestly, because the product is genuinely limited, is wielding influence. The one who manufactures false urgency is manipulating. The long game. Manipulation may work once, twice, perhaps for years, but it leaves a residue of resentment and distrust. The manipulator's influence collapses, often catastrophically, when the mechanism is finally seen. Genuine influence, built on trust and real value, compounds. Each positive interaction adds to a reservoir of credibility. Each relationship you have honored with honesty becomes a long-term asset. Marcus, Priya, Aisha, James, the people in our stories did not win because they were clever manipulators. They won because they were trustworthy. And trust, in the long run, is the most powerful influence of all. Chapter 9, Putting It All Together. Knowledge without practice is biography, not transformation. The principles in this book only become real when they are applied, consistently, imperfectly, and with genuine intention. The daily influence practice. Start each day with a single question. Who will I interact with today, and how can I add genuine value to them? Not how can I get something from them, not how can I impress them. How can I give first? Before any important conversation, take 5 minutes to prepare not just your content, but your intention. What do you want this person to feel at the end of this conversation? Preparing your intention sets the quality of the entire interaction. After important interactions, reflect briefly. What worked? What created connection? What created distance? This reflection loop accelerates your development faster than any amount of reading. The influence audit. Once a week, take stock of your influence ecosystem. Think about the 5 people with whom you have the most important relationships. Are you investing in those relationships or withdrawing from them? Have you shown genuine appreciation to anyone this week? Have you listened, truly listened, at the 3rd level? Influence is not a skill you master once and then possess permanently. It is a living practice, maintained through attention and intention. Know your style, play to your strengths. You do not need to become someone else to master social influence. If you are an introvert, lean into your depth. Prepare more than anyone else. Build fewer, deeper relationships. Write with precision. Create moments of one-on-one connection where you are at your most powerful. If you are a leader, make listening your first and primary discipline. Your job is not to have all the answers. It is to create conditions in which the best answers can emerge. If you are a marketer, make genuine value your core offering. Build relationships before you build campaigns. Tell true stories. Be someone your audience would genuinely miss if you disappeared. Conclusion: the person in the back of the room. Do you remember the man from the beginning of this book, standing quietly at the back of the room, who hadn't spoken, hadn't arrived first, wasn't the loudest voice, yet somehow, by the time the meeting ended, had moved the entire group toward his position? You now understand how he did it. He had given before he asked. He had listened at the 3rd level. He had made people feel genuinely seen, and they trusted him for it. When he finally spoke, his words carried the weight of someone who had done the work, who understood the room, and who was not trying to win, only to contribute. This is the end state of mastering social influence, not domination, but a kind of quiet gravity. People move toward you. They listen when you speak. They trust you with their real concerns. They want to follow you not because you demand it, but because you have earned it. Give first. Listen deeply. Make people feel seen. Speak with the authority of genuine knowledge. Build trust one interaction at a time, and never mistake your growing power for a license to manipulate. You now hold everything you need: the science, the story, the strategy. Go master the room. End of mastering social influence. Thank you for listening.